Today I will teach you the lists in Python and also the demonstration of list in Jupyter Notebook. So what is list in Python? So a list in Python can be defined as a collection of values or items of different data types. So I want to store a string, then float values, then integer values, then character. Okay, like this, I want to a boolean value. I want to store different types of elements. Then I can use a list. And every item is separated with a comma. So the items in the list are separated with a comma and enclosed with the square brackets. Now wherever you see the square brackets, now that implies a list. Okay, and lists are ordered. That means in which order you are going to give. Like suppose I give 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the output is also been the same. Because some different objects like dictionaries if you can take, it is unordered. That means whatever you give in the output, the arrangement of the particular order can be different. That means the third element can be displayed as first and first element can be displayed as last, like that. But lists are ordered, so in which sequence you're going to create a list, the same sequence you're going to follow. Now the element of a list can be accessed by the index number. So when we go with arrays, we work with index numbers. An array, generally when you go for the array definition, we say that array is a collection of similar elements. Now, if you want to access any element from that array, we go by index number, and the array index starts from 0 and ends with n-1. So the same concept has been applicable for the list also, where I want to access any individual element or a group of elements, still we can go by the index numbers. Now the lists are mutable types. Mutable means we can modify a list. That means we can add few elements, remove elements, or modify, change the existing elements. Now that has been possible. So that is called mutable. A list can store number of various elements. So as I said, different types of data elements can be stored into a certain list. Now we have list slicing. Now we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So totally 6 elements are existing in the list. So this is called the list variable. So you can take anything like X, Y, Z, A, B, whatever you want, you can take. Now here you can see there are 6 elements. Now this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the actual values, because already I put here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you take the first element, this is index number 0. So if you want to access the 0, or if you want to store the 0 value into this particular position, which is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, then 3, then 4, and 5. So totally 6 elements are there. The index starting from 0 and n-1, that is 6 minus 1, 5. So you can store any elements. Like I stored 0, 1, 2, 3. You can store 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, like that. But what are the values to store? The index number only starts from 0. Now, if you take this one, see, I said this is a list is a variable. Now, I can say it's a list variable. Now, if I am writing list of 0 equal to 0, then this is the 0 index position, right? So this 0 will be inserted here. If I write list of 1 equal to 1, then this 1 is initialized here. List of 2 is this one, 2 you are going to store. List of 3, you have stored 3. List of 4 is this one. So this 4, whatever you're seeing is nothing but this particular thing. So index number is also 4, the value is also been 4. Suppose you want to write 400. So how do you write? List of 4 equal to 400 you are going to write. Okay, so the 400 will be displayed here, stored here. Okay, then list of 5 equal to 5. This 5 value is nothing but this one. So like that, I can go for the index number. So what are you writing in the square brackets here are the index numbers. The right hand side are the values. So instead of 0, I can store 100. That 100 will be visible here. I can store here 200. 200 will be visible. So like that, you can change the value. So right hand side is the values, what you want to store into the specified index. So this within the square bracket are called as index numbers. Okay. Now when you go for the list slicing, I will give the something like starting index and ending index. That means only sub-range of elements can be extracted. So if suppose I start the index number, you can see list of 0 colon, And after the colon, actually we need to give the ending index. So I'm not giving any ending index, but only starting index I given. So starting index is this, right? So this value is 0, so you got 0. And since you're not given ending index, all will be printed. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will get printed. Okay, if you give, let's say, 1 here, index number 1 means this one. So you don't get 0 output. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now here you can see I have not given starting, nor given ending, only colon I have given. So before colon is the starting index, after colon is the ending index. So I have not given anything, so then it will start from 0 index and ends with the last element. So you can see here also the same. Now coming to the next one, list of 2 is 2 colon 4. So 2 is the starting index, 4 is ending index. Now here you can see this is index number 0, this is index number 1, this is index number 2. So my output will be 2, index number 2, index number 3. The last index number is not considered. That you need to remember. So here if I write 4 index number, you get the answer till 3 only. So here I am getting starting index, this is 2. So the value is also 2, I got 2. This is index number 3, the value is also 3, I got 3. But index number 4 is not considered. So n minus 1 concept you need to apply. Okay, so you get index number 2, index number 3 as an output. So you got this one. Now if you see 1 colon 3, 1 is the starting index, ending index is 3. So you are going to get only 1 index value and 2 index value. 3 is not considered, right? So this is 1 index value, you get 1. This is the 2 index value, you get 2, but 3 is not considered. So you can see only 1 and 2 as an output. Now list, I don't give any starting index, but I give ending index. So this is 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index. Now when I write 4 as an ending index, only till 3 only it is considered. So your output will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So can I say 0, 1, 2, and 3? Okay, so everything has been working with the index numbers. Now here, this is the most important what you need to understand. So forward direction and backward direction in list. Now you can say list equal to, I've taken 6 elements, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the values inside the box. Now, forward direction, if you can see, this is index number 0 for this box, index number 1, this box, index number 2, index number 3 for this, index number 4 for this. So when you go for forward direction, we have only the positive index numbers. Now, apart from other programming languages, the Python has introduced negative indexing also. So you can see in the complete list, the last element is -1 index. Its before one is -2, then -3, then -4, then -1. This is a backward direction. So if I write, I want to print like list of -1. So you get this as an output. List of 1 you write, this is the output. So positive numbers are starting from left to right. Negative indexing is index numbers are starting from right to left. Okay, so -1, -2, -3, -4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now apart from that, we have some Python methods like append, where you want to add the elements to the end of the list. Insert, you can add some elements in between the list. Remove and pop are used to remove the elements from the list. Then reverse for reversing the list, then sorting, then count how many elements are there, then index, that the first occurrence of the given value can be extracted, then clear is used to clear the list completely. Okay, so these all methods we'll see the further execution part. So now I'll take you to the demonstration of Python list in Jupyter Notebook. So let me open the Jupyter Notebook. So you're already open. Now, the execution part you need to understand very carefully. So lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. So just now we were saying, list equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, so one variable we are using to store multiple items. Lists are created using what? Square brackets. Now the square brackets is a representation for list. So for example, if you can see, I've written X, only square bracket. I have not put any element inside that. So what I'm doing here, creating an empty list. So the list without any element. So how do you create that? So you just write the list variable name, any variable name you can write, any name. is initialized with the empty square brackets, open and close. That is the representation of the list. So no elements, then I can set an empty list. Then you print the X value and execute. So you can see empty list, there are no elements. Now, coming to the second example, you can see I'm taking the same variable, but I'm trying to put a string variable like Python and put a comma. Every element should be separated with a comma. Then I'm putting one more string called program, then comma, then text, comma, and book. So all our strings I'm taking here. You can mix with the different elements also. So that also I will show. Then print of X. So just execute this. So can you see Python is one, programming text, and so X is holding that. Okay. So if you want, let's say suppose I want to add something called 10 and execute this. So you get 10 also. So it's a collection of different elements. Okay. Now coming to the list items. Now as I said, the list items, see these are called as list items. This is a list item 1, list item 2, then 3, 4, and 5. 5 items are there. Now list items are ordered. That means in which sequence you are giving, the same sequence you're going to get the output. If suppose you can say Python programming textbook and 10 are given, the output is also same, Python programming textbook and 10. Now this is called as ordered sequence. So in which order you are going to get, the same order you are going to get. Okay. Suppose in between I'm going to write something called 20 and just execute this. You can see in between, wherever you write the same order, we are going to get the output. Now that is called ordered. Now changeable, as I said, it's immutable. We can add, we can delete some elements, or you can modify some elements of the list. And it also allowed duplicate values. I can write duplicate elements also inside the list. Now list items are indexed. As I was showing in the PPT, the index numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, like, okay, the first item will become the 0 index. The second item will be holding the 1 index, etc. Now if you go for ordered, lists are ordered means that the items have a defined order and the order will not change. So already I mentioned changeable. The list item is changeable means that we can change, add, and remove items in a list after it has been created. That means into this, so earlier was only 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 20 and 10 I've added, no? That is called modification. So changeable, the lists are changeable. Then it can allow duplicate values also. Since lists are indexed, list can have items with the same value. See, for example, I have written Python programming textbook. Again, I have written Python programming. 2 times the Python is repeated, 2 times programming is there. Now, this is called as duplicate values. These two have been duplicated. Yes, still it accepts. So once you just store into the variable and print that variable, you get the same. Duplicate values are accessed. Okay, that means accepted into the list. Now, if at all you want to find out the length of the list, like how many elements are there into the particular list I want to count, then you can apply a function called len, len. So to determine how many times a list has, how many items as a list has, then use the len function. Now, okay, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, elements are stored into a variable called list variable called x. And just to pass the text as a parameter for len function, like this, len of x. Then execute, you get 6 because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 elements are there. Okay. So len function is used for finding the length of the list variable. Now, coming to the list items data types. List items can be of any data type. Now, as I already given the information to you, like the list can hold different data elements or different data type elements. So you can see, if you can see, this is one list with all strings. I put in a variable called A. There's a list variable. If you see one more list I've created with 1, 2, 5, 4, 7, which is only numericals. That is integers. So that is stored in B. Here, if you can see, I've stored true or false. That is stored in C. So there are 3 lists. One is named with A, one is named with B, one is named with C. But here, if you observe, all items are same. Here for one list, here all items are same, and here also all items are same. And if you can print A, B, and C, just see the output. So whatever you are given, one is with string, one is with numbers, one is with true and false. So like this, you can create any list with any types. Now, if you want to mix the different data types, now you can see a list can contain different data types. Now here with this one string, one integer, one boolean, one floating point value, and one more string. So like that, you can give multiple, not only one, multiple values you can project. So if you compare this one, all strings, this one, all number, this one, only boolean values. So why can't I mix everything? So here you can see there is a mixture of strings, integers, boolean values, floating point values. Okay. So I can write here float and boolean values. Okay. That I store in a variable, list variable called y1 and printing that. And you can see all the elements are there. Now, if suppose I want to find out the data type of this particular variable. Okay. So we have one function called type. Now lists are defined as objects with the data type list. So here how to find. So what is the data type of the list? I want to find out. So I have given some values here and everything is being projected into the square bracket and that is stored into y1. So if you want to find the data type of y1, you simply apply a function called type. Inside the type, you give the list variable. Then it will, if you can just pass this one completely to the print function, no? Then it will give. Now this is a list object, okay, and the class type. Now this is the data type. Actual type it is going to show for the list. Now there is a list constructor, okay, and by this also we can create a list. Now it's also possible to use the list constructor when creating a new list. Now if you can see here there is no square bracket. So this is list, it's a constructor, and inside that I'm passing this in the other parentheses. Okay. Now I'm storing in y1, and now if you just pass the complete thing into the list function, still your output is only the list where you can see the square brackets. Square brackets. Okay, so the list constructor is used to create a list. So this is another way of creating. Okay, but you need to pass like these brackets. Okay, now how to access list items. So already I mentioned that the index number is there for accessing the element from the list. So list items are indexed and we can access them by referring to the index number. So note that the first item has index 0, then it second one 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Now if suppose I want to print the third item of the list, third item. Now here this is item 1, item 2 and item 3. Okay, now I want to print this one, but it is holding 0 index number, this is holding 1 index number, this is holding 2 index number. So you have to be very much careful when you go for index numbers. Okay, so when I normally count, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. But when you go for index number, this is 0 index, 1 index and a 2 index. So I want third element, this one is third element, so index number is 2. So you need to, everything is stored in a variable called y1. You need to take that reference y1, and in the square bracket you need to write the index number which you want to access. So since this index number is 2, I'm writing y1 of 2 and execute and see you're getting that output. If suppose I want this one, fourth element, so you write 0 index, 1 index, 2 index and 3 index. So if I mention 3 here, you get 3.4. Okay, if I mention 0, you get first value. Okay, right? So like this you can access them. Now I already mentioned what is negative indexing. So the last element, when you go for the backward direction, that is right to left, the last number in the list is -1. Its before value is -2 and so on. So negative indexing means start from the end. End you need to, that means the end element is -1, then its before element is -2 and so on. So -1 refers to the last item, -2, -1 is referring to last item, -2 refers to the second last item, etc. Now if you can see this one, print the last item of the list. Now this is the last item. Okay, this is the last item of the list, right? But if you want to print this, and that too using negative indexing, then this is becoming -1 index. This is -2 index, -3 index, -4 index, and -5 index. So I want to access the element with the negative indexing. So here you can write, so since everything is stored in y1, you can take the reference of y1 and you write -1. -1 is this one. Okay, just execute. So you got program. If suppose I want to print this one through negative indexing, so this is -2 index, -1, -2, right? So I'll just make it to -2. Execute this. Can you see here you got 3.4? This one. Okay. So I'm changing back. Right. Now range of indexes or list slicing. So slicing also I mentioned in the PPT, where you need to have a colon operator and print the print with the starting range and ending range values. Now we can specify a range of indexes by specifying whether to start, where to start, and where to end the range. Because till now we are accessing only one element, right? But I want a group of elements to be accessed from the list. Okay, like I want to start from second index and I want to end with 4 index. Okay, that set of elements I want. How to extract that? Now, when specifying a range, the return value will be a new list with the specified items. Suppose I give the index number like from start with 2 and end with 4. Suppose you have 10 elements, I give start with 2 and end with 4. So you get only 2, 3 index. So 2 items will be stored in a new list. The existing list will not be getting disturbed. Now here, return the second, third, and fourth items from the list. So now here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. 5 elements. Now which one I want? The second one, then third one, and fourth one. So I want these 3 as an output. Second, third, and fourth. But you need to go by index numbers. So this is 0 index. I don't want 0 index, right? This one I want. So this index number is a starting index. You need to put index number 1. So I put here 1. Okay. Then second index I want, third index I want. But you need to write index number 4 because this is not considered, right? That means 1 more than the required you need to put. So if you put 4, you get only till 3. That means index number 1, index number 2, and index number 3 is only considered. The fourth index is not considered. If you write here 3, then you get these only 2 values. Index number 1, index number 2 only you're going to get. So that is the reason our requirement is second, third, and fourth. So you need to put one more extra, like second, third, and fourth is been coming, but the index number when you see, you need to put one more extra. Okay, just execute and see. Okay, if I put 3 here, what happens? We'll see. Okay, now you can see these 2 have come, second and third only. What about fourth? So you need to just increase one more and then you get the other one. Okay, now note the search will start at index 1. Yeah, this is for this we are explaining. The search will start at index 1, included, index 1 is included, and end at index 4, which is not included. This 4 index is not included, right? Okay. Now the first item has an index value called 0. Okay, this one is 0. So I want this one. So I go for 1 index number. Now by leaving out the start value, the range will start at the first item. Now this one also I was showing in the PPT. Now here I am having a list by using list constructor. I have done this. First element, second element, third, fourth, 5, and 6. Now returns the items from the beginning too, but not including a thing called programming. Okay, I don't want to include the program. This one I don't want to include. Right. Now, what I'm doing is I'm not giving a starting index. I'm not giving any starting index, but I'm giving the ending index 4. That means 4 is not considered, till 3 only it will be considered. So when you don't give anything here, it will start from 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and 3 index. The fourth is not considered. That means fourth onwards it is not going to consider. How many elements are then it is not going to bother. So only these three elements, these four elements will be getting considered. Just execute that. Okay. Starting index, if you don't give, it will start from 0 index. Ending index you are given n minus 1. That is ending index minus 1 only will be considered. So 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and 3 index. Fourth index is not considered. Now by leaving out the end value, the range will go on to the end of the list. Now here I have not given starting index. The next example, I am not giving ending index here. See, return the items from the second index to the end. Now this is 0 index, this is 1 index, this is 2 index. Now from this I want to print, but I don't give the ending index. I give this as a starting index, but I don't give ending index. Can you see here? 2 colon, after that I have not given. So when you don't give, it will start from 2, but till the end it will take, till the end. So just execute. Now can you see from false till the end? Let's say I want to just change this index number to 3. 3 means this is the index number, right? But I don't give ending index. So from here to here it will print. Can you see? I'll go back to the previous one. Okay. Now range of negative indexes. Specify negative indexes if you want to start the search from the end of the list. So I already mentioned this is becoming -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay. Now here I have given -3 as a starting index. Ending index is -1. So in this particular negative indexing, it will only move in the forward direction. Okay. Now how it works? So you can see -1 is this, -2, -3. Okay. -3 is the starting index, right? So I want to print this, but ending index it was -1. So -1 is not considered. Okay. One step before only it will consider. So these two will become the output. -3 and -2 only will be considered. Okay, as we have gone for the positive now, here the 4 means 4 is not considered. Till 3 only you are going to get. Similarly, here the ending index is not considered. Till one step before only it will consider. So you can see. You can see here. -3 and -2. These two only considered. Okay. Now if I go for let's say -1, -4. Okay. And -1. Can you see? This is -4. But till -2 only it is considered. Okay. Because this is not considered. Now, I want to check if the item is existing in the list or not. Just to cross verify. So to determine if a specified item is present in a list, use the in keyword. There's a keyword called in. Now how do you write? So I've taken a list with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 elements and I stored in y1. I want to cross verify whether this 3.4 is available in y1. You can write the condition if 3.4 is available in y1. So by using in operator, you need to check. 3.4 in y1 means if 3.4 is available in y1, then you print item is available. You can see after colon, you can see indentation. This is a space indentation automatically starts. Okay. See, if I just put a cursor and press enter now, you get that space. That's the index indentation. If this is not, if 3.4 is not there, then else will execute. Now if and else need to be same line. You can't write in between. Then when you put a colon again, the indentation is starting. So these two prints need to be in same line. The if and else also need to be in same line. Okay, when you put a colon like this, the indentation is going to start. Just execute. Item is available because this 3.4 is available here. Okay, suppose I write 3.41 and execute. See, item is not available in the list. We don't get any 3.41, no? Right, so that is the reason we are getting item is not available. So like that you can check anything. Like suppose I give Python. Can you see item is available? Python is there here. Now we'll see how to change the item value. Now to change the value of a specific item, refer to the index number. So here you can see change the second item. Now here this is the first item, this is the second item. Now I want to just change this one. So if you can see the index number, this is the 0 index number and this is the 1 index number. So I can take, see this complete thing is stored in a list called y1. So if I go for y1 of 1, means this one, this is 0, this is 1, right? Then equal to, initialize with, I'm writing a boolean value called true. That means in this place, it will overwrite with a true value. Then you print that y1, that is a list variable. Then see, you can see, instead of 20, you got here true as an output. So like this, you can change the value. Now this is changing a single value. Now can I change a range of item values at once? So to change the value of items within a specific range, define a list with new values and refer to the range of index numbers where you want to insert the new values. Okay, that means here I need to define a new list which is holding more than one value, and that list you need to give for changing the values. So for example, change values of first and second index numbers. So this is 0 index, this is first index, this is second index. So I want to change these two values. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to go for the list slicing by using colon operator. Now how do you write? So everything is stored in y1 variables. So I take y1 and the starting index is 1 because I need to start from here only 1, and I need to change this one also. So 1 index and 2 index. But if you write 2 as an ending index, no, 2 is not considered, right? So I need to, when I want to change the first and second, you need to write more than one, that means more than the this index number. Like this is index number is 2. You need to write one more. So 1 is to 3. So starting index number 1, second index, then third. If you give third, any of this one is not considered, right? So you get 1 index and 2 index will be changed. Now with what values you want to change? So I've assigned that one also. So I want to change the index number 1 with 45, index number 2 with true value. Any of 3 is not considered, right? So this will become 45, this will become true. Just execute this. Can you see the first index has from 20, it has changed to 45. From false, it has been changed to true. So like that, more than one value can also be changed at a time by using the slicing operator, by using a range. Now, say this was the example where I want to change two values. So I given two values here. Fine. Now these two values are overwritten with this one. But sometimes what happens, I can give more than the particular two values. Okay. But my range is only two values, but more than two values also you are giving. Then what happens, we'll see. See, if you insert more items than you replace. Actually, I want to replace these two. So what you need to do, you need to give only two values. But I'm giving more than that. Then what is the scenario? Here, if you can see, you want to replace these two values, you are given two only. Then it will overwrite, no problem. But here the scenario is if you insert more items than you replace, the new items will be inserted where you specified, and the remaining items will move accordingly. One step forward, it is going to move. So try to understand this example. So I've taken a y1 list with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. Now I want to replace starting with index number 1 and ending index is 3. That means what? N minus 1, right? So 1 index and 2 index, only 2 items I need to replace. But here instead of 2 items, I given 3 items. 45, true, and book. Now these 3 items need to be replaced. But here what you want to replace, only these 2 values, right? For these 2 values, you are giving 3 values to replace. Then what happens is, these first 2 values will get overwritten here. Okay, 20 will become 45, false will become true. Then after that, what is the extra thing you have? That will be inserted here only in this. Now, whenever it is inserted here, these 3 values will move one step forward. That means the output, if you can see, you can understand. Python, you got this one as it is. Instead of 20, the 45 got replaced. Instead of false, you got true. True is replaced. Now you can see the book is inserted here only. Can you see here? But what about this? These three have been moved one step forward. See, it has given some place for the extra thing, and these things have moved one step forward. Actually, this is the fourth element. But here, this book has been become the fourth element. This has become fifth element, then sixth and seventh. So what happened? These three one step forward direction, it has been moved, and it has given some place to insert this one. Okay. So this is the thing happens when you give more than the replace values. Now note, the length of the list will change when the number of items inserted does not match the number of items replaced. Now if you can see this length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before replacement, it is 6. Okay. But after replacement, that extra thing has been given now. Then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 elements it has been. Okay. So what happens here? The length is being changed. Instead of 6 elements, it has become 7 elements now. So that is the note here. The length of the list will change when the number of items inserted does not match the number of items replaced. See, it could be less or it could be more. The length obviously get decreased or increased. Now, if you insert less items, then you replace. The new items will be inserted where you specified, and the remaining items will move accordingly. So one step backward, it is going to move. Now here you can see, change the second. Now change the second and third value by replacing it with one value. This is second and third, no? I want to replace this one with only one element. Actually, two I need to give, but only one element. That means one index I'm going to give less number. Okay. Here one value was more. Here one value is less. Now I need to change index number 1 to index number 2. Any of 3 is not considered. But instead of two values, I'm giving only one value. Then what happens? These three will move one step backward. Just execute. Can you see Python you got? Instead of 20 and false, you got 45. That means one element is reduced. This 3.4 programming and text is moving one step backward. So index number 0, index number 1. Now this has become index number 2. Earlier false was there, no? But here there is no element now. These three have moved one step backward, and this is taking over index number 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now insert items into the list. Now can I insert an element into the list? So we have a specific method for that. To insert a new list item without replacing any of the existing values, we can use insert method. Now the insert method inserts an item at the specified index. So where you want to insert, you need to tell. Now here again the same, I've taken 6 values and I stored in y1. Now y1 dot, I'm calling one function. There's a method called insert, and I want to, the first one is index number. First one is index number. The second one is the value what you want to insert at this index position. So I given 1 at the place of one index number. I want to insert this. Okay, now you need to find out where is that 1 actually. So this is 0 index number. This is 1 index number. So in this position, you want to insert hello string. Then what about 20? When you want to insert here, what about 20? It will overwrite or it will move one step forward. So here it will not overwrite. It will, these all things will move one step forward. Just execute. Can you see? Python, the 0 index you got. In place of 20, I want to insert what? Hello. So you got hello. But this 20 has moved one step forward. So complete from here to here, it has been moved one step forward and created some place here. Because I clearly mentioned that index 1, whatever it may be, at this position I want to insert this. So whichever was existing here will move one step forward. So the same thing happened here, you can see. Okay. Now as a result of the example above, the list will contain 7 elements now. Because you have inserted hello, no? Earlier it was 6, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was the actual list. But after inserting, the list size has been increased to 7. Now can I append? See, insert method says that you can insert anywhere. It could be starting or it could be ending or it could be in between based on index number. But when you go for appending items to the list, it will only add to the end of the list only. at the difference between insert and append. Now to add an item to the end of the list, use the method called append. Now take the example, the same 6 elements I've taken and I stored in y1. Now y1 list dot append method I'm calling, and I want to append something called world, that is a string. Now when you print that, I said clearly that append method means it will only add here. Whatever the elements are existing, after that only it will add. Just execute. Can you see here? It will add to the end only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the seventh element is only at the end. There is something called extend list. Now to append elements from another list to the current list, use the extend method. So you are having two lists and you want to append one list to the another list. So how do you do? Now the elements will be added to the end of the list. See, for example, I have one variable called y1, that's a list, and totally 6 elements I'm storing. This is one list, fine. I'm taken one more list, y2, and I've taken three elements into the y2. Now if I write y1 dot extend y2, now here what I said, it is going to append the elements. Appending means only to the end, right? So y1 is the starting list. So this complete thing will print as it is. Extend y2. This will be appended at the end of this one. Just execute the y1. Can you see? Python 20 false, still here it is a y1. Now this has been appended. Okay. Now let me check what is y2 value then. Print of y2. See, y2 is still the same. Okay, because y2 we are not appending. No, y2 is y1 is getting appended with y2. So if I print y1, you get so many elements. But y2 we are not appending anything. Okay. Now after this, if I write, maybe I'll change here only. y2 is extending y1. And I print here y2. And then I print y1. So here you can see for y2 we are appending. That means first you are going to get these three followed by these things stored in y2, and y1 will be only having this one. Just check the output. Can you see? Y2 is extending y1 means these three things are right only starting, these three are there, but these things are appended to y2. Then if you go for y1 printing, this is same. So which one you are going to give first? That is the main list, and for that the other list get appended. Okay. Now add any iterable. Okay, that means here we have, apart from list, we have the other iterable objects. That means a collection of objects, collection of elements into the object. That is a tuple. It could be set, it could be dictionary, etc. So the extend method does not have to append lists only. You can add any iterable objects. It could be a tuple, it could be set, or it could be dictionaries. Those things also can be appended. For example, add elements of a tuple to a list. Now this is a tuple. You can see the parentheses, the brackets has been changed. The list bracket is different square brackets. Now here the tuple is holding a different set of parentheses. So, and when you just make out the difference, this is mutable where you can change the values or add and remove. But here it is immutable where we cannot add, remove the elements from the particular, nor change the element from the list. So I have taken y1 as a list, y2 as a tuple. Now can we append these? Can I append this tuple to a list? That is my question. So here I've taken y1 with a list and extend called y2. So this y2 elements need to be appended to y1. But here it is a tuple. This is a list. Yes, still we can do. Can you see the output? This is a list. Till here it's a list. But these three things are a tuple, got appended. So the extend method is not only appending list to list, but any other iterable objects can be considered for appending. Now, can I remove the list items? Yes, we have the method called remove method. Remove the specified item. So I want to remove the item called programming from the list. So already we have a programming here. I want to remove that element. So how do you do that? So you create one list with some elements, and from that list what you want to remove. So you can call the remove method. So y1 dot remove method you need to apply, and which element you need to remove, that you need to give. Then you print the value. Then can you see the programming is removed here? Okay. Now if there are more than one item with a specified value, the remove method removes the first occurrence. For example, you can see this list, Python so and so. Now programming is here, and again programming is here, duplicated, right? Now in such situations, you are applying remove method and you are writing programming. So whenever you scan from left to right like this, the first occurrence is this one, the last occurrence is this one. So when you apply remove method for such terms, only the first occurrence get removed, the other occurrences will be remain same. Just execute. Can you see? After 3.4 the programming got removed. There is no programming yet, that got removed because of the first occurrence, but the last programming still remains. So the remove method is going to remove only the first occurrence whenever the value is duplicated. Okay, otherwise it can remove that element. Now in order to remove the specified value, the pop method is also been there. Apart from remove method, the pop method removes the specified index value. So removes the item at index number 1. So here I put the complete list with 7 elements and I store in y1. I'm calling y1.pop method. In the pop method I given index number 1. Now this is index number 120. I want to remove that, and whatever the resultant answer is there, that means whatever the element you are deleting, no, that you need to store in x file. Suppose you are removing that index number 1, this value is getting returned, that I store in a variable, and I'm printing that. And after removing that, what is the resultant answer? I'm printing this one. So this is going to print 20 value because this is index number 1, what it is returning, and the remaining after removing 20, rest of things are going to store in y1, this one. So just execute. Now can you see 20 is removed, and after removing 20, this is the answer. You don't find any 20 here. Suppose if I remove 2, pop of 2 means this one, right? This one is stored in x file, and the y1 is going to be printed without false statement. Just execute this. Can you see? X file holding false, and here there is no false. If you do not specify the index, okay, here I specify the index, right? If you do not specify the index, the pop method removes the last item. For example, I have this list. Total 7 elements are there. I stored in this one. y1.pop. Am I giving any index number? No. If you don't give index number, what we are saying, the pop method removes the last item from the list, whatever it may be. Then the return, the whatever, see this is the last element, this get removed and stored in x file. I'm printing that, and after removing that, whatever is remaining I want to print. So can you see? Programming is removed. The last one is removed, not this one. Okay. So this complete thing is been there in y1 till here, but this one is removed, and that is returned by using pop method. That removed one is going to store here. Okay. Now I can use del keyword to remove the element at the specified index. Now here I want to remove the second item. So this is first item, this is second item. So this is 0 index, this is 1 index. So I can use one keyword called delete, del, and you give the reference of the list and index number which you want to delete. Okay, and then print the value. Okay, so after deleting this one, whatever is remaining, that is printed here. Just execute and see. Can you see? There is no 20 here. Suppose if I give 2, this element is deleted. If I give 3 is this one, right? Can you see there is no 3.4? So like that you can delete at the specified index. Now the delete keyword can also delete the list completely also. I want to delete this completely. Okay, so entire list should be dropped out. So you write just simple del and y1. Just click this. So that got removed completely. Okay, If suppose you want to print, you get an error because that y1 is gone. Y1 is gone. Okay, just execute this. Can you see an error? Name y1 is not defined because it's already deleted. Complete this. Variable is got deleted. Okay. So now I remove this. There is no output, but it got deleted, right? Now, can I clear the list? So clear is different. Delete is different. If you write del, this complete variable with this thing is been removed. Clear implies that only the elements, now these elements will be removed. That's all. But the list is still existing. But delete says that the list is also been gone. There is no list at all with y1. Now the clear method empties the list. This list still remains, but it has no content. But here what happens when you apply del, the complete y1 is dropped out. There is no list with y1. But here the list is existing, but elements are not there. That's it. So here again 7 elements are stored in y1. I'm applying simply y1.clear and print y1. Now can you see? Now here you can see, if you want, just print of y1 before clearing. We'll check, and then clear, then this one. Now can you see, before clearing you got these elements, but after clearing you can see there is list is existing but empty. Okay, so that's the meaning of clear, right? Now can I use loops? Can I use loops in a list? Yes. So here I will show how to use a for loop. So we can loop through the list items by using for loop. Now print all items in a list one by one. So here I have taken a list with 7 elements and I store in y1, and for I in y1 implies what? You take one element from y1 and put in a variable called I and print that value. Suppose if you take the first element 0 index, this Python is stored in I, and print the I value, you get Python as an output. Then from the y1 you take second element called 20 and put in I and print 20. Third element false, that is put in I and print. So everything is stored in y1. So if you write for I in y1, that means you take one by one element and put into this current variable and print that value. So that's the reason you're getting Python 20 false one by one till the last. Okay, so like this we can use for loop, and you can see when I write for loop, you need to work with the colon. When you put colon and press enter, the indentation is going to start here. Okay, now this space is considered indentation, right? Now if you don't follow indentation, you're starting from here, it leads to an error. Can you see? Indentation error, expected an indented block for the for statement. So you can just give a space and re-execute, you're going to get the output. Now loop through in the index numbers. Now you can also loop through the list items by referring to the index number. So you use the range function and len functions to create a suitable iterable. Now what do you mean by this? So print all items by referring to the index numbers. So here again the 7 elements I've taken and put into y1. For I in range of, there is a range function, and here I'm trying to find out the length. What is the length here? 7, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So here you get 7. So range of 7 implies range of 0 comma till 6 only. So this is 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index, 5 index, and 6 index. So whenever you evaluate this len of y1, you get 7 here. Okay, that implies 0 to 7. Any of the 7 is not considered, so you get 0 to 6. So when you talk 0 to 6, totally 7 elements you are going to get. So from this range, we are going to pick up the first 0 index value, Python, and print here. Then you take 1 index value and store in I and print here. Can you see y1 of 0 means this one is going to print. y1 of 1, no? I value is 1. So here you're getting 7 means 0 to 6. So first index number is 0, you store in I. So if you write y1 of 0, you get this one. Again, you store 1. y1 of 1 means this one. y1 of 2 means this. y1 of 3 means this. y1 of 4, y1 of 5, y1 of 6. So 7 is not considered. Okay. Now can I use while loop also? We can loop through the list items by using while loop also. Now use the len function to determine the length of the list. Then, so I need to find out the length of the list, means len function we need to use. Then start at 0 and loop your way through the list items by referring to their index numbers. So remember to increase the index by 1 after each iteration. So if you don't go for incrementing the index value, then it will go to the infinite loop. Now, for example, you try to understand this using a while loop to go through all the index numbers. So I have a list here with 7 elements I stored in y1. I've taken one temporary variable I and I put 0. Now I is less than len of y1. Len of y1 is what? Length of this one is 7. So I less than 7, 0 less than 7 true. Then you print y1 of 0. y1 of 0 means this one will print. Then I should get incremented. So I was 0, I becomes 1 now. 1 less than 7 true. y1 of 1, this to get printed, and I becomes 2. 2 less than 7 true. y1 of 2, this one get printed and it becomes 3. 3 less than 7 true. Then y1 of 3, you get 3.4. Then I becomes 4. 4 less than 7 true. Then y1 of 4 is programming, you get programming here. Then I becomes 5. 5 less than 7 true. y1 of 5 is this one. Again I become 6 less than 7 true. y1 of 6. Then I become 7. 7 less than 7, the condition false. Then you come out. So like this we can go for looping in the list. Okay. Now what do you mean by the list comprehension? List comprehension offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the values of an existing list. So this is a shorthand notation or the shortcut notation in order to work with the list. So what are we doing here till based on the conditions and all these things we can do in a shorter way. Now can you see the syntax here? If you want to create a new list from the existing list, I'm writing some expression for item in iterable. Iterable could be a list or a tuple or the other dictionaries and so on. And if condition. So everything I'm writing in one line only. But in earlier case, we used to write two or three lines like this. We are writing, okay, we're writing two or more lines. Why can't I write in only one line? Now what it will return once everything is over, it is returning what? New list for us. So the return value is a new list, leaving the old list unchanged. Old list will be not changed, but only new list will be, or the changed list will be in the new list. The condition is like a filter that only accept the item that evaluate to true. Okay, so whatever the condition you're writing now, whichever the condition is true, that only get evaluated. Now just try to understand. Without list comprehension, I'm showing first how to write, then we go for list comprehension. Now without list comprehension, you will have to write a for statement with a conditional test inside. Now you can see I've taken 4 elements, Python programming, text and programming, and I stored in y1. Okay, this is the actual list with 4 elements. I've taken one more list called z1, which is empty right now. There are no elements. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm taking every element from y1. So for I and p, y1 means what? This one. First element I'm going to put in I, and I'm cross verifying if p is available in that particular Python. Because already you know p is already available here. Then z, which is empty, no? The list is empty. I'm appending the I value. That means into this z, into this empty list, I'm trying to put Python now. Because first one is matched. Now, again, the second element from y1, this is programming I've taken and put in I. If p in second one, yes, programming is already there. That also get appended. So already Python is appended to that, programming is also is appended. And now we'll see the next one, text. The text has been stored in I, and if p is available in that particular text, p is not available, then this line is skipped. And again, the next fourth one is going to store in I, and if p is available, yes, obviously p is there, that is get appended. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 So here P is matching here and here and here. So three things are being stored into a Z1 because Z1 initial was empty, but whenever it is matching, we are putting into Z1. Now finally, you are trying to print the Z1 and just execute that. Can you see all three which are matching with P is been appended into the Z1 empty list. So here you can see a for loop has been there. When you put colon, there is indentation is started, and if again colon, this is an indentation of that. Okay. Now this was without list comprehension where we need to write more number of lines. But the same thing, if you go for the list comprehension, you can do all that with only one line of code. So how to do that? So here the same list we are taken with the 4 values that I store in Y1, and I'm creating a new list called Z1. Now how it works, we need to see. Now here, this complete list, now here you are writing for I in Y1 till here. For I in Y1, that means one by one, these are going to store in I value. Okay, that is the first step. Now, for every element, we are cross-checking. If P is available in I, for example, I've taken this Python. Okay, if you can check this one, Y1 is only in the first element called Python that is storing in I. Then this will get executed. If P, character P is available in this I is holding Python, no, it's matching. Then you print that Python. That means you just create an output called Python and store in Z1. Again, second element is been taken and put in I, and here it is going for if P is available in second element, yes, then this I value is going to store in Z1, that is programming. Then you take this one text and store in I, and if P is available in the text word, no, then this will be skipped. Then fourth one, from Y1 you go to put in I, and if P is available in that programming, yes, then that complete I value whatever is there, no, that is stored in Z1. So here also 1, 2 and 3 will be printed, but you can see here we are writing only one line. So what is this one? This is an expression. Okay, then this is a loop, this is the condition. Okay, now here also the same thing, loop, condition, then we are appending. Okay, similarly here also the loop, condition, and this is the final output. If you can see here, this is an expression, right? Expression is nothing but here this I value stands for expression. Then for iterable, okay, this is a for loop. For I in Y1, Y1 is a list, right? List is called as iterable. Then we have a condition. If condition is true only, that will get executed. Now here this is the condition. So three things are covered here. So instead of writing like this, we can write only in one line and print the final Z. You can see the same output you're getting. What you got here with 2 or 3 lines, the same in one line also we're getting the same output. This is called a list comprehension. Now only accept items that are not having character P. That means this is holding P, this is also holding P, but here this is only one word which is not holding P. So I want this one as an answer. So how to write? Same for I in Y1 because this is a list. If P not in, you need to write. Not in, this one you need to add. Not in I. So here P is holding P. If you take first item and you check, if P is not in Python, false. If P is not in programming, false. P is not in text, true. Then that I will be storing in Z1. Again, the fourth element is storing from Y1, it is taking fourth element storing. If P is not in I, false. Then only one element is being stored. Okay, just execute. So you can see only one you are getting. In means which is matching, not in means which is not matching. Now only accept items that are not programming. So how do you write? So again we take a loop. This is a final expression. I is the final output. For I in Y1, you take the first element Python. If I not equal to programming. Yes, Python is not equal to programming. True. Then that Python you are going to store in Z1, first thing. Then you take this one. Okay, second element from Y1, put in I. If I stands for this one second. Programming not equal to programming false. Then this one is skipped. Then you take this one. If text not equal to programming true, then put the text which is holding in I in Z1. And finally, again, you take programming not equal to programming false. So this one and this one both are matching, and that has been put into Z1 and print that Z1 and execute. You can see which is not matching, which is not programming, you are going to get. Now, if you want to display all items, these are all items you want to display without any condition checking. So just to apply a loop for I in Y1, you take this Python from Y1 and put in I and put that I as a final answer in Z1. Similarly, all program you take, put in I and that I value is put in Z1. Similarly, text and programming also. There is no condition. So you can display all elements. Now list comprehension, iterable. The iterable can be any iterable object. It could be a list, tuple, etc. etc. Now here you can use range function to create an iterable. So here you can see for x in range of 10. When you say 10, this is an ending index. So I said the ending index is not considered. Range is going to start its index number from 0 and n minus 1. So 10 is n minus 1, 9. So 0, starting with 0, right? That 0 is storing in x and the text is storing in x2 and print. Similarly, you take 1, put in x and the text value is stored in x2. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 0 to 9, you are going to print. Now here I was saying something called list and tuples. So here we are working with list, right? Now the same thing you can work on tuples also, sets also. So any iterable object you can work with the comprehension concept. Okay, then accept only numbers lower than 5. I want to go for list comprehension where the number less than 5 should be displayed. Now again the same I'm taking for x in range of 10. That means 0 to 9. If x is less than 5 only, you need to display that x and store in x2. Suppose you take 0. Okay, first is 0 to 9, no? 0. Put in x. If 0 less than 5 true, then that 0 is getting stored in x2. Now you take 1. 1 you put in x. If 1 less than 5 true, then that x value 1 is going to store in x2. Then you take 2. 2 put in x. 2 less than 5 true, and that 2 you are going to store in x2. Like that 3 and 4. Then you become 5. 5 less than 5, the condition is filled, you need to stop. So can you see the answer? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 only you are going to get. Okay. Now, the expression. The expression is the current item in the iteration. So, if you see now, this is an expression value. So that is the current item what you are going to store into the list. The expression is the current item in the iteration, but it is also the outcome which you can manipulate before it ends up like a list item in the new list. So your final answer is going to store into this expression and that you are going to put into a list. So what they're saying is before putting your final output, you can manipulate. See, for example, set the values in the new list to uppercase. So whatever is your answer, you need to put into uppercase. So here, how do you write? This x is the final output, right? So you write one function called x.upper so that whatever is the outcome, that is going to convert into uppercase. So here you can see for x in y1, y1 is holding all 4 elements. So you take the first Python and store in x. Take Python from y1 and store in x. And your final outcome should be uppercase. So you need to call x.upper. Before storing into the list, you need to do all manipulation. Similarly, you take programming from y1 and put in x and apply upper function. So the programming also printed capital letters. Then you take text and put in x and convert into upper and store. Finally, this one also. So when you execute this one, can you see all in capital letters? So before assigning the final output, you can manipulate. Now you can set the outcome to whatever you like. Set all values in the new list to the hello. Now here, this is the final output expression, right? This X is a final output expression. So you don't want to store that X value. Whatever you're taking one by one, you don't want to store. You want to give some other value as a final output. So that also can do. So you take these 4 values and put in y1. For every iteration, like for X and y1, you take this Python and put in X. But I don't want X to be stored in X2. I want this hello word to be stored in X2. Then you write whatever you want to store, you can write here hello. That X2 is going to store this one. Then you take second one, put in X. For this also you want to give the answer as a hello only. For this one and this one also hello only. Okay. Then finally when you print no, you get 4 times hello. So this is the final output. So you are picking up this one by one, but you don't want this one to be stored. You want something else to be stored. That also can be done. Now the expression can also contain conditions, not like a filter, but as a way to manipulate the outcome. So what it is, say return the item if it is not text. If it is text, return book. So what do you mean by this? We'll see. So here we have 4 items and that I store in y1. Okay. If, can you see here first we are going for this. For X in y1 means you take this Python and store in X. Okay, that is first case. Now if this X value whatever you have stored is not equal to text. Yes, Python is not equal to text, true. So what you need to do here is, okay, Python, first you're taking, okay, for X in y1, then you take the first element. If Python is not equal to text, is true, then you're going to store the text because it's not equal, no? They're asking for not equal, fine. It is true, then store that Python as it is in X2. Then you take programming. Programming is also not equal to text, fine. That also need to be stored in X2. Take third one, text. Text not equal to text, then it's false. Text not equal to text is false. Then whenever you get false, you replace this text with book. That's the meaning here. Okay. So this text is replaced with the book. Then fourth one you can see programming not equal to text. The condition is true. Then you store the programming as it is. So your answer will be Python programming. Instead of text, you need to replace with book and programming. So can you see the answer once? Python programming, book and programming. So whenever you take the third one, text not equal to text, the condition is false. Whenever you get false, you better replace this word with this one. That is the meaning of else here. Okay. Now, can we sort list? Yes. Sort list alphanumerically. List objects have a sort method that will sort the list alphanumerically ascending by default. So here you can see I've taken with list with 4 elements and store in y1. I'm calling simply y1.sort and print y1. So internally it gets sorted. So based on the ASCII code, just you can see this one is first, then second, then programming is third and fourth. So based on the ASCII values, it is getting sorted. Okay, when you go for the capital letters, B is first, then T is, then followed by the small case letters. P, R, O is first and P, Y is last. So this is in ascending order. Now this strictly go by alphabets. Now if you want to sort numerically, I've taken some numbers and I stored in X2 and I'm calling X2.sort and print X2. You can see the numbers are also getting sorted. Okay. Now if you go for descending order, to sort descending, use the keyword argument reverse equal to true. Now you can see I've taken this Python programming text and book and I stored in y1. If I apply y1.sort, okay, and you don't write this one, it will be sorting in ascending order. I don't want ascending, I want descending. So what you need to do is you just write an attribute called reverse equal to true and then print y1. So then you can see the reverse order. You can see the ascending order you got book, text and programming in Python. The reverse way Python programming, text and book you got in the reverse sorting order, that is descending order. Okay. Then the same thing You can apply here. I can write reverse equal to true. Okay. So you can see descending order 472, then 61, 54, 22, and 12. That is the reverse order. That is descending order. Okay. So you can do like this. Now, case insensitive sort. So here you can see this is a small case. Okay. Then you have the capital case. So whenever you have capital and small case, based on the ASCII value, it has been taken into consideration. And first, all capital letters have been sorted, then only the small case. So here I don't want all these things. Based on the alphabet only I want to sort. Like in this, you get B. Then after B, you need to get P, Pro, and then Python, then text. So here I'm not concentrating on the uppercase and lowercase. So how to do that? So by default, the sort method is case sensitive. Okay, so uppercase letters first will get sorted, then lowercase, resulting in all capital letters being sorted before the lowercase letters. If you want a case sensitive sort function, use str.lower as a key function. So how do you write? So this is a list I stored in y1.sort, and there is an attribute called key equal to, if you write str.lower, then all are considered as a lowercase letters, then it is going to sort. Okay. So you can see B, then Pro and Python and text. So this is the sorting order where your uppercase, lower cases are not considered. So here everything has been converted into lower, and based on that it has been done. Okay. The reverse order. I want to reverse a list. Simply apply one function called reverse method. So here I've given Python, program, text, and book. Your reverse order says book, text, programming, and Python. Can you see here? Book, text, programming, text. So whatever is the list, we'll just print in reverse way. That is, last will become first. Then can I copy list? You cannot copy a list simply by typing list 2 equal to list 1. Okay, because list 2 will only be a reference to list 1, and changes made in list 1 will automatically also be made in list 2. Okay, so what you can do here, you can have a copy method to be performed. Instead of assigning, we just go for a method called copy. Okay, because whatever changes you made in one list will be automatically made in L2 also. That means the list 2 also. So what you can do is we can apply simply copy method. We can use a built-in list method called copy to copy list. So what I've done here, I've taken the 4 elements I store in y1, and I'm simply just calling one method called copy, y1.copy. And the same copy has been put into y2 and print that y2. Can you see? Python, program, text, and book. If I print y1 also, we get the same copy. Can you see? Both are having the same one, right? Now the copy method is used to copy from one to the other one. Okay, so then you can alter any, let's suppose you want to alter y2, it is not going to affect the y1. Okay, but here it's not like that. When you go for initialization, one is affecting the other one. So better to use the copy method. Now list method, another way to make a copy is to use the built-in method called list. So how do you do that? So here I've taken one list called y1, and I'm applying list of y1 and assigning to y2. Okay, still you print y2, you get the same copy. And if I just remove this, you get the same. So list is also a method which is being used for copying one list to the other list. Now we have a slicing operator. The colon is called as a slicing operator, right? We can also make a copy of a list by using slice operator. So make a copy of the list with slice operator. How to do that? So here I've taken list called y1, and I'm going for y1 with there is no starting and there is no ending index. So when you don't give starting and ending index, the complete list will be taken from starting to ending and assigned to y2 and print the y2. Okay, and if you just print y1 also, you get the same thing, right? So this is the third way of copying one list to the other list. Now can I join list? Join two lists with the plus operator. So I have Python programming, text, and book as y1, and I'm having y2 is another list where I put some numbers, floating point, and numerical values. So I'm writing y1 plus y2 and storing in y3. Then print to that y3. So you can see these things these two things are concatenated. So first y1, right? Y1 is still here. Concatenated with what? Y2. Y2 is these three. So on the whole, I have joined two lists. Now to join two list is by appending all the items from list 2 into list 1 one by one. So here I'm having one list with 4 values in y1, second list 3 values in y2. I'm taking for loop for x in y2. Okay, in y2 means this one, 10. Okay, that I put into x, and whatever is there in y1, for that you need to append the x value. So first x is 10 is appended. Again from y2, 2 points is storing in x, and that has been appended. And then 45 is stored in x, and that is appended. So to y1 it is getting appended. So first these values will be there. Then for that these three values get appended, and finally you print the y1 value and see. So like this you are going to get. So these are y1 and these are from y2. I was keeping a loop, and I was applying an append method, and I was adding. We can use the extend method, where the purpose is to add elements from one list to the another list. So we already seen the extend method. So the same thing we can apply. Here one list of y1, then y2. y1 dot extend y2. You can see print y1. Then you can see all the elements are been there in the list. So this is another way of joining the list. Okay. Now we have one more called repetition operator. Okay. Repetition operator. Now what do you mean by that? So maybe I'll take some x equal to 4 comma 5. Okay, and I write x equal to x into 2, then print of x. Just execute this. So you can see this 2 is nothing but repetition operator, what we call, and this 4 comma 5 is repeated twice. Can you see? 4 comma 5. If I write 5, can you see? 4 comma 5, then 4 comma 5, 4 comma 5, 4 comma 5. So like this you can apply the repetition operator onto the list. Okay, generally it's called as multiplication operator, but here when you apply on the list, it is called as a repetition operator. Okay, so these are some concepts on the list, and these are more used into the real-time applications. So I hope I have given inputs on the list, then its concepts like adding, deleting, changing, okay, the items in the list, and looping in the list, and list comprehension, okay, and few methods. So if you like this video, please do subscribe, comment, and share it to your friends. Thank you.